Now, in a letter addressed to the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and the French President Emmanuel Macron, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has stated that Hamas must surrender its weapons and allow the deployment of Arab and international forces in Gaza. These statements come a week ahead of a Saudi-French conference focused on a two-state solution. For more, we are joined by Ahmad Fattouh, Fatah's spokesperson. An absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Abbas is calling for international forces to replace Hamas forces in Gaza. What has prompted this move and why now?
Thank you for having me. First and foremost, the Palestinian Authority is the legitimate authority of the Palestinian people, and they should return to the Gaza Strip because they are the legal authority and practice their legal jurisdiction over Gaza and the West Bank. Of course, when we talk about a Palestinian state or a project for a Palestinian state, it should be within one government, one weapon, and one authority, one Palestinian national project. The Palestinian people also requires international protection. We are all witnessing the crimes against humanity that Israel is doing in Gaza, the attacks in the West Bank, the settlements. All these attacks on the Palestinian mere existence require from the international community to pay attention and to save the Palestinian people from the cruelty and brutality of the Israeli occupation. Therefore, we don't have an army, we are defenseless, we don't have an air force, but we have the international community, we have the international law, we have the international resolution, more than 800 resolutions issued for the question of Palestine. Not one of them has been applied. We ask the question why. Therefore, it requires from the international community to take serious steps to preserve peace, to evoke peace, and evoke the two-state solution, provide an international protection mechanism for the Palestinian people under the understanding that we have reached with the international community. That requires a serious will and a serious policy by the international community and on top of them, the United States, to go forward into a peaceful path. And that peaceful path must be based and can only be based on the two-state solution.
In his letter to the Saudi Crown Prince and the French President, Abbas outlined the main steps he thinks must be taken to end the war in Gaza and what you're saying, achieve peace in the Middle East. Are his suggestions realistic and achievable? Is it actually possible that Hamas will release the hostages as requested?
Of course it's possible. Everything is possible if we have the will to go into peaceful negotiations and drop weapons. Israel cannot continue the process of bombardment, indiscriminate bombardment and disproportionate killing of the Palestinian people and starving 2 million human beings. That is a catastrophe. Let's go for negotiations and peaceful negotiations. We have seen that 2 weeks of negotiations in January have released more than 100 hostages. Therefore, the peaceful approach is actually the only approach, is the fruitful approach. Israel needs to wake up from their cruel mind and their vengeance mentality. This is absolutely abhorrent, these ideas coming from Ben Gvir and Smotrich to exterminate the Palestinian people. We should go for a peaceful approach, and Hamas has to step down from power and go with the Arab reconstruction and peace plan, where we have said, and which is approved, by the way, by the Arab League, by the EU, and the OIC, the Islamic Organization Cooperation. Therefore, we go with that plan that states for a ceasefire first and foremost, the release of all hostages in both sides, and to go for a Palestinian Authority committee to run Gaza until we go for election, and also to reconstruct Gaza and make funds, international funds to the reconstruction. Then to go straight forward into the two-state solution, because we have to admit the inevitable. This is not an issue between Israel and Hamas. This is an issue between the occupation and the occupied. This is affecting the entire Palestinian people, not only Hamas and their groups.
But Ahmad,
therefore, Israel needs to admit and recognize Palestinian rights to exist.
So I just wanted to ask you a question. Yes. We're talking there about a resolution and what needs to be done. Are you in contact with Hamas? Is Hamas prepared to release the hostages? Is Hamas prepared to leave Gaza? Because Israel says they will continue their offensive until this is happening. What are we hearing from Hamas?
Well, the Hamas leader recently, Al-Hayy, announced that they want to step down of power. I hope they are serious, and I think they are serious in this gesture. It requires more, of course, understanding between Fatah and Hamas. Egypt is involved as a mediator, and to increase these talks, these national talks, to come into realization that the Hamas control over Gaza is only giving a pretext to the Israeli occupation to continue its war and to continue its genocide. Hamas cannot continue in this endless loop. They have to admit the fact that they failed in their coup against the government in Palestine since 2007. They entered Gaza into 5 wars, and now the genocide that took place after October 7 for their unstrategic thinking. Now to go out from this trap of death that Israel has planted is to to give up their power and call for the Palestinian Authority, the legitimate Palestinian Authority, to come back to Gaza and therefore remove all pretexts in front of Netanyahu's table, because he wants an endless war, as you are full aware, for his issues, internal issues, and to continue in power. We have to be smart here, and Hamas need to think clearly, because each day passing, more of our children and women are dying. Of course, Israel is the first responsible of these deaths, but Hamas also can put their hands with the Palestinian Liberation Organization and give the negotiations to the PLO. They are the legitimate entity, and they have the experience and the legitimacy to do and manage these negotiations in the best way possible. Not to make it as a negotiation between Israel and a party, no, but between Israel and Palestine.
Ahmad Fattouh, Fatah's spokesperson. It was great to have your insights. Thank you so much for speaking to us.